On board day. Player, dead cross exhaustion reversal, 9 and 21, on 12 hour. TZA, dead cross exhaustion reversal, 2 and 6, on 2 week. Hedera, dead cross exhaustion reversal, 9 and 21, on weekly. Hedera, dead cross testing exhaustion, 9 and 21, on 8 hour. Stellar, golden cross testing exhaustion, 50 and 200, on daily. Chainlink, dead cross exhaustion reversal, 13 and 48, on board day. TZA, dead cross exhaustion reversal, 9 and 21, on 2 week. Player, dead cross exhaustion reversal, 2 and 6, on weekly. Hedera, dead cross exhaustion reversal, 13 and 48, on daily. And 48, on 2 week. Cardinal, golden cross exhaustion reversal, 9 and 21, on 2 day. Hedera, dead cross exhaustion reversal.
All right, definitely had to cut the background down. One computer is scanning, and this computer is doing what it's supposed to do. And we should get some good information spewing over the computer here in just a moment. Just a moment. Now, one thing I don't have ported in as an audible is the Pi cycle top for the 1 minute chart. I don't have it in there. It will be great for demo purposes, but whenever we get a refresh on what's going on, this is just good programming. Let's see what we have going on here.
Stellar, death cross exhaustion reversal, 13 and 48, on 1 minute.
Did you hear that? Stellar death cross exhaustion reversal. Reversal. You have a death cross here. And then you have an exhaustion reversal, which means the death cross is coming to an end, but it's an exhaustion reversal, which means it wanted to bring this yellow wave pattern to an end, but it reversed, right? We can program when we cut up through the yellow channel, in many cases that usually happens, and we get the reversal, meaning it hasn't closed all the way. So remember, we still have that yellow open. It did not turn blue. You see some white in there, that's the 2 and the 6, but the 9 and the 21 is there. And that's basically what this is saying. So we got the 2 and the 6 and the 9 and the 21. The programming is really, really stellar. Now, this isn't AI talking in the background. This is just good programming. Let's see what it says next. We got the channel here. We got the 50 and the 200. We got the 13 and the 48. We got the 9 and the 21. We got the 2 and the 6. Every 10 seconds would have been more exciting, but just look at everything in the chart as the chart begins to talk to you. Look at this area here in green. When I take the cursor away, it's green. Pi cycle top again, great times to buy. Going into orange for increase. Liquidity sweeps on the bottom and liquidity grabs on the top with similar circles of a different color. And usually when we have a liquidity grab, the market or sweep, the markets will reverse. On the 1 minute chart with Stellar or XLM, and this is part of the DTCC, we have the hybrid RSI and SRSI indicator in the background on the bottom, the asset oscillator, and the Pi cycle top for the 1 minute chart. Let's listen to those alerts to see what's going on live in the chart. General golden zone, aggressive golden zone. When you leave these zones, whether it be aggressive in the yellow border box, you go up. Yellow, you go up. In general, you go up. That is the rule. That is the law. When you leave the golden zone, whether general, aggressive, or there is one that is insane, when you leave these golden zones and their 3 tiers, you increase. All right, I'm about to show you the scanner in the background. And uh, we do have a number of indicators open here. That's the golden zones and the peak zones, right? We have the beautiful color of the candles indicating the trend. Yellow is down, blue is up. We have the liquidity sweeps, liquidity grabs, the change of character, which is a reversal pattern, and a continuation of structure or a break in the structure, which is a continuation pattern. That's part of the SMC liquidity two belt. You have your wedges in here. This is currently a falling wedge here. And the falling wedge failed because your bottom price breached the bottom plane. Usually in falling wedges, what happens is if you break the top plane, you go up. Here in this one, it was a failure. So the falling wedge ended and it listed as a falling wedge failure. It typically happens, but anytime you see a falling wedge or a rising wedge, it gives you an idea of price movement projection. We have a beautiful trident pattern. Bull tridents and bear tridents is a certain candlestick pattern or patterns that come up, and that is a beautiful thing. We have bull flags and bear flags. We have what's called double eights, even though it's not necessarily going to flag in the chart unless I cut those indicators on. And you just have the wind channels, of which this one I don't need, but we do have the wind showing up in the background, and it just happens to stick out more abundantly whenever we move this particular indicator to the top. And I'll just put it right under the candlesticks. And they may stick out just a little better, but idealistically, if I wanted to double lay a concentration pattern over it, then you can see that stick out really well, especially the 13 and the 48, which is in the orange dotted lines. You're about to get some interesting things to show up here in a moment. Pine cycle top fragmentation grenade, 30-second to 1 minute pine cycle top on the menu, asset oscillator, what I call the insurance plan on the menu. And of course, you have your hybrid RSI and SRI indicator. All right, let's see what we have here. We have a scanner, and the scanner can look for, let's count them, even though they're all not in here. We won't count the pi cycle top, 17 things, not including the PCTRs, 17 things. And we're going to increase that to 21 because within the exhaustion, exhaustion reversal. It's, notice what it's saying on the 1 minute. Now that's a combination of this asset oscillator. It's a good buy opportunity because when we were in the red up here, that was a good sell opportunity, right? You always have your pi cycle top with you in the green. Gap or black is where you can get in for good increase. And even though this is a 1 minute chart, the idea is that any time frame, your same familiar similar patterns begin to appear, even though on the 1 minute chart and the 10-second chart things appear more quickly. You saw the liquidity sweeps on the bottom and some liquidity grabs here across the top. And typically when you have those, you start to look at a typical market reversal. All right, so it's just naming exactly what's going on in the chart. Now, keep in mind, even though I have one scanner on for the 10, Exhaustion, death cross is going down. Exhaustion means we go up, but exhaustion reversal means we went up and we go back down, right? Because of the downward pressure in the markets. Now, these are some of the patterns that we can look for here. I don't have them all turned on. And also be advised, on the 1 minute time frame, we are not looking for some 45 assets that you see here. We only have on XLM. We can scan everything that's currently available to us in the market. So we can scan up to 45 assets here on the 1 minute time frame. And we can get up to 21 key indicators that are bread and butter. Trust what I tell you. Now, with that scanner application, when we look in the settings, we can pick the various time frames here. And sometimes I just open up another scanner in the special browser designed to remember the settings that I have for the 1 minute time frame and every other time frame that I choose to open. But I can open the various time frames and the programming will call out what is. And that is a beautiful thing because I can only be one person looking at a chart on one time frame with one asset. Now, the more monitors that I have available, like if I split this screen in a number of ways, let's see, here, no, it's not been done in such a long time. It's right here. I can split the screen half and half. I can split it 4 ways. Things get really small, but I can still only focus on one thing at a time. No matter how many times I divide this screen up, I can just do one asset. And I might miss something, especially on the 1 minute time frame, could be very aggressive. But the computer can scan 45 assets every 30 seconds or 60 seconds, whatever I so choose, and look for up to 21 key things. And I can have multiple time frames open. Let's open up another scanner, shall we? And even though I don't want to initiate that voice, I can just go from the 1 hour time frame and I can go to a 3 minute time frame. That's 1 minute and 3 minutes open. And I can open up yet another scanner. And I can just go down the list and start scanning until my heart is content for every time frame. That's what the other computer is doing in the background. So much that I had to mute.
Here go. Death cross exhaustion reversal.
Hear
2 and
that?
6 on 8 hour.
I had to mute it just so I can make the video. This is big. This is your own team of people on your side scanning on your behalf, but it's not a person. It's good programming. All right. Now, let's just take some of these away because the other computer is scanning in the background. We know we have this open and we can change the voice, right? Test the voice just so you can hear her voice. That's just a sample, right? And we got Mark's voice. And of course, we have David's voice. And we can slow the voices down or speed them up. And because so much information comes so quickly on these particular time frames, the more that you have open, then naturally you want it to talk fast. Let's go back to 2. All right, and let's do that. On that 1 minute time frame, and of course we have our assets there that we want. Let's go back to the chart and see what's going on here. Oh, look at the liquidity grab here. What else do we see? Golden Cross with the 9 and the 21 came in. Uh, Death Cross exhaustion has occurred, or almost occurred, right? That's almost closed out. You can see green simply means we're under the 21 weighted moving average. And any variations of red means we're over the 21 moving average. Now, for what cross pair, right? The golden cross or death cross of the 2 and the 6, the 9 and the 21, the 13 and the 48, and the 15 and the 200. So you see various shades here of red, upward momentum above the 21 weighted moving average, or green, downward momentum below the 21 weighted moving average. Okay. All right. So we got those exhaustion pairs in there. Now we have the scanner. Obviously, we know the scanner can speak to us regarding the latest information, the latest and greatest information going on in the chart. And remember, we don't have everything cut on, and we don't scan for every single thing on these lower time frames because we would just get bombarded with information. This laptop is not necessarily built for social media content creation. This is not the design of the laptop. The memory is decent. The processor is sweating right now. So consequently, the scans are not coming in religiously every 30 to 60 seconds. Just keep that in mind. It all depends on processing and computing power. All right, now let's just get with the video and go over just a little bit more pieces of information, and so the computer won't sweat as much. Make sure. Right. Let's go over some other pieces of information. We got all this data coming in. Yeah, the webhooks, the server is sweating. It's usually flying with information. So consequently, recording a video definitely slows things down. So I'm going to close this here because you understand the computer can call out things that are causing me to scan up to 45 assets, right? 45 assets, whatever I so choose on the particular time frame, looking for up to 21 key things. Close that out. Let's make sure that closes down properly because my computer is competing for resources. Claude doesn't need to be open. Let's close Claude. And maybe we'll gain just a little bit more resource. Now, I don't want to bash any particular thing going on, but certain things happen in the background of computers that basically we don't have too much control over it. All right, the processor got just a little better, a hair better. Let's show you this right here. All right, this is a nice application because we can blanket upward or downward movement of the 45 assets that we are looking at. Okay, and that is really nice because we also get a verbal alert. App cross up at $1.20. When she speaks, I listen. I have her talking just a little bit more slowly because I can choose the asset and blanket us moving up or down the asset by a certain percentage. And it happens really quick. I can add the alert very quickly. Now, what's happening is I'm waiting on these pieces to refresh, which since I closed down an application that we don't need to use, the information is starting to come in. This is taking all the information, maybe from the various scanners. Not that I have to have the scanner tab open because you see I just closed two of them. And it's going to rank the information coming in. It's a screener, okay? It's a screener because this is a lot of information coming in into the computer. Remember, one person looking at as many charts as that person can look at, scanning for at least 21 things, yeah, let the computer do it, right? All right, so let's look on the higher time frame first. We have the assets, and we can see this one is called peaking out. And the idea is the computer is putting some assets into a category of possibly, you can go downhill. And the idea is to take the elevator as it's going up and it's starting to slow down and maybe go down, to take another elevator that is strongly going up. This is what this is about. At the same time, it is a screener. So it's going to start screening things and giving it a score based on where it is and what can potentially cause it to go down, or what assets can potentially go up. And sometimes you see the same asset on the left side, on the right side, it depends on the time frame. So this time frame is plucking out really good for 8 hours and higher, right? The lower tier is good for 1 minute to 8 hours. Yet I have them all on anyway because some things sneak through the cracks. We're showing the ones that are confirmed and the ones that are approaching, right? Which means if something is due to come up, we always alternate between, for example, Golden Cross and Death Cross. If one is on the horizon, the computer will flag it. Okay. All right. What else can we say? As we scroll down of the screener, you'll begin to see some of the indicators that we saw in the scanner. And we have more than, of course, 21, because some things are separated out in great detail. For example, the wind exhaustion. When a golden cross is exhausting itself, the golden cross falls. And when the death cross is exhausting itself, the death cross rises. Golden cross is upward momentum and then it fades. Death cross is downward momentum and it fades. Sometimes you have downward momentum and you have an exhaustion, but it reverses. So the computer will pick that out too. So let's say we're looking for tune the six death cross exhaustion. Let's take everything else away and let's just put on this and see what the computer gives it. Notice these have some scorings here, right? They have some scorings. Let's take the falling wedge breakout away. And let's just look for that one thing and look at this. It's letting me know everything on the higher time frames, usually 8 hours and higher, but sometimes you see other ones slip in. It's telling me everything that's in the death cross testing exhaustion, which means the candlestick pattern is moving above its wind channel and breaching its 21 weighted moving average. Pretty interesting. And we got to go back. And we don't always have to say it's a 21 weighted moving average. For example, the golden cross of the night and the 21. The 21 weighted moving average sits almost in the middle of the channel perfectly. So if we say a 2 and a 6 golden cross or death cross, the 6 weighted moving average sits almost perfectly in the middle of those wind channels. So you got to understand when I say that. Now, look at the ones that are testing exhaustion, which means it almost appears that these assets have the price action is going up, and these are the time frames that we flag that on, right? Really, really nice to isolate that or to screen that from many assets. Now we can add more things on here too. Let's see what is in a peak zone. And we can see 2 out of 2 which ones are in a peak zone. which means these prices have definitely been going up for their particular time frame. Like silver, if you were to pull that up on the chart, or QQQ on the 2 week chart, and so forth. Now, the peak zone may be on different time frames. Let's see if there's anything in an aggressive peak zone. And you don't stay in those long, and especially the insane peak zones. Let's just put them both on there. So now we're looking at four things. Well, shucks, we have 4 out of 4. And some of these, the stock after hours or after hours can typically open on Monday, but typically Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock, 9:30 a.m. to about 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're flagging that information 2 out of 4 and so forth. And, well, we have confirmation, right? The scanner will call it and the computer will back it and confirm, yes, this thing did happen. See how fresh it is on the particular time frame. Bitcoin, 1 week, 0. It's fresh, right? Now it has to print. So when we get a 1, then we know it's gospel, right? All right. So these is picking really fresh things. Look at aggressive. Do you have insane? You have an insane there on the 5 minute chart. Notice how the 5 minute snuck in there. I mean, I can appreciate the 5 minute and the 30 minute, even the 1 minute sneak in. Now, same thing, same concept. We can screen things going up or going down and so forth. Golden cross, testing exhaustion. All right, the exhaustion reversal, which means this golden cross exhaustion reversal was going down, but it got a bounce. That would be interesting, right? And then we can see that for the night and the 21, the 2 and the 6, 13, 48, 15, and 200. Okay, let's just put all 4 of those on here and see what we got. 4 out of 4, 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4. Let's see what's making it to these here. PayPay. Hmm, interesting. For the various time frames, all those things are met, right? For the various time frames. And that golden cross exhaustion means it was going down from going up and the reversal happened, right? Which means the channel did not close out. Now, that is the screener, okay? That is the screener. It's listing all those assets for whatever we choose, and it's going to let us know those key things that are in the scanner, plus or minus a little more things. That's golden. So this is a complementary piece to the chart, and it's happening right now. Now, look how often we can scan. Every 30 seconds, probably a little aggressive. Maybe I should bounce down to, every 60 seconds, but the computer can handle it. We just saw the processing power. Everything's good. It's not maxed out at 100 and frozen. Hopefully the videos of me is not like, hopefully things are moving on the chart. We got the lower and we got the upper. Okay, so that is really nice. And anything that I'm holding currently is listed as a hold. Now, if I didn't want to get all those things, because sometimes we just like to focus on one particular thing, then that's what the isolator is for. The isolator for the upper tier just lets me pick one particular thing, for example, XLM or whatever it may be. And you can see that I get the same thing except for I only pick one asset. All right. And not everything is going to show because it just may not be available on every single time frame. If it's not there, it's not there. So as we look at, for example, let's just pull these up because they're valuable pieces of information. Death cross exhaustion reversal, right? Big, which means we were going down, we were going up, but it reversed. Okay. So this is continued downward pressure. Let's take these off as far as the golden cross. And let's see what we got. All right, and keep in mind, we've singled things out on the higher time frames. Look at this. Confirmed. Fresh, right? And we got more information here as far as what exactly is going on. The 1 week to 2 day, the 1 day, and the 8 hour. And we can see exactly what is going on. All right. Now, we got that for the upper and lower time frames. Now, the switcher is nice. The switcher still lets me know what assets I currently hold, and it's letting me know this is for paper trades only. This is not going to be a platform where I hit any buttons and execute a trade. I don't want to be afraid of this information. It's only going to do a paper trade, but we want the format to go into another application where live trades or paper trades are truly executed. But this information helps put it in there. Remember, I said we can take an elevator up, and as it's peaking out, then you can jump on another elevator going up. So the idea is that you're only taking elevators up and increasing your percentage. That's the idea. So the computer is going to rank those things based on a very unique score, the strength of the indicator, and so many other things as far as confirmation. Complex. I don't want to give my trade secrets away, but it is what it is. We have the switcher for the lower time frame, 1 minute to 8 hours, and the upper. And what is nice about the switcher is we can switch from one asset to the next. Now the computer is going to give suggestions because everything is constantly called out. We got confirmation. So just like we saw in the screener, now we have a score. And we have a deploying button where we can move that information to what's called the Pattern Command Center, to PCC, which is here to execute paper trade or alerts and live trades or alerts, because this could be a good deal, knowing that these things can peak out and increase. But again, not financial advice. It's just helping you dig into the chart a little better to find the things that are exciting. Now, sometimes you see one asset here over here. Okay. For example, Jasmine is here, 4 hour, 4 hour. So it could potentially peak out, which means with Jasmine, we have a golden cross of the 2 and the 6. Confirmed. Beautiful. And the death cross of the 1 and the 3 on the 4 hour time frame can temporarily disrupt the upward momentum. Right? Yet at the same time, on the 8 hour time frame, we have some things going on here, and notice the time frame is different. But yet, golden cross of the night in the 21 and the 8 hour time frame is here. So if you understand your indicators and the strength of each one, then you may want to be like, you know what, this is going to be temporary, because you can't take the elevator off of the 2 and the 6 for a less potent 1 and the 3 just for a minute or two, hypothetically speaking. And then if it doesn't totally disrupt and force the price down, that 1 and the 3 is only going to affect that particular, that 1 and the 3 is only going to affect that particular 4 hour time frame, and then it's over. Now the 1 and the 3 can't usher in the 2 and the 6 death cross, but that's a whole nother story. We have these things do up, right? Now, if I hit that button, which means, yeah, get me out of PCC, in the event the 1 and the 3 kicks in, I hit that button and I can get the alert in the Pattern Command Center when that happens. And if I hit this, it's going to attach the paper action to it. And keep in mind, none of the sensitive information is shown. No keys, nothing like that. So I'm more than happy to do the video. I'm not showing my cryptocurrency keys or anything like that. So this isn't one of those videos where someone can look at something and it flashes for a split second and then the account is dumped. Totally different, right? All right. So this is paper only. If I confirm and post just one button, it goes into the Pattern Command Center where I can change it from a paper trade, work some things around, and change it into an actual live trade. to initiate movement on an exchange such as Coinbase, Robinhood, 2bit, 2bit or Alpaca. Okay. All right. Now, suggestions. Taking the elevator up. All right. Like a seesaw. You're always jumping to the next highest point as things are coming up. Okay. So this computer is looking, and we can take these suggested rotations, but you have to understand trading to make it really meaningful. There is another component that is not in here, and that other component is called macroeconomic catalyst. That happens in real time, like the Clarity Act, like the Japanese carryover trade, like a volcano or earthquake or a scandal or something good happening in the world can cause the markets to drastically flip in one way or another. This is what makes trading so risky. It's all risk. But we're going to let the computer do what it does. Take a look at this. Suggested rotations. We got a death cross of the 1 and the 3 coming up on a 4-hour chart for Microsoft. And with BNKD, we are due for 1 and the 3 golden cross on the 8-hour chart. Suggested rotation, taking the elevator up. So you constantly see red on the left and blue on the right. And if we wanted to initiate that trade and see, hey, if the death cross of the 1 and the 3 is confirmed and the golden cross comes in, take the trade. Get me out of one and into the other. And what's really nice is we have inverse pairs that are perfectly matched. When one goes up, the other goes down, like a seesaw. When one goes up, the other go down because they're inverse. Look at this. Same underlying opposite direction. Rotate between the 2x short and 2x long of the same asset when signals align on both legs simultaneously. Psh, mm, When you're high and you're about to round out, jump on the low one. Because as that goes down, and when you're high and you're about to round out and you start coming down, jump on the low one, right? That's the concept. And the computer can change these really, really fast. So consequently, you see stock here, right? You see stock. If I wanted to take that and execute a paper action, which can turn into a live action in the pattern command center, one button and it's there. Okay. All right. Now you got the switcher for the lower time frame and the switcher for the upper time frame. You may not get as many suggested rotations as far as your 2x leverage, but the computer is still ranking everything for, we would say, the 8-hour to the infinity 1 month chart, right? You rarely get 2 months and 3 months on here, but you can see the same ideology and methodology. These are peaking out, and you have to understand the strength of the indicator, and things are warming up. So these are scheduled to go down, even if temporarily, and these are scheduled to go up. And it's all fresh. How fresh is it? Relatively fresh, based on the time frames that we're looking at. Now, keep in mind, I'm making a video, so things may be off by as much as 2 to 5 minutes. But I did close some applications. I did close some unnecessary things. And when I closed them, you saw, these begin to populate quickly. Now, with the switcher, same thing. Suggested rotations, a lot of them are crypto, some could be stock, right? And keep in mind, the markets aren't 24 hours by 5 days yet, even though we're rapidly approaching that. You got to stay abreast of the macroeconomic catalyst. And notice we don't have a total of 10 like we did on the lower tier, but this is just as good. We do have opposite leverage rotations as a suggestion. And we know just by looking at this, it's not forcing the information, which is beautiful. Same concept, same idea, higher time frame. 2x leverage short, paired perfectly with their 2x leverage long. The seesaw methodology. If something falls apart because of a macroeconomic catalyst or whatever, then the thing swings the other way. But if it doesn't happen, the computer is not going to flag the trade. It's not going to take it, which is nice. All right. So the computer can help us decipher with all that information. I don't necessarily need to be running a bunch of reports because the programming is baked into the cake. Now, we already looked at this one as far as blanketing the information, and since I was able to do so, let's just pick something that I haven't put up here yet, and keep in mind we still have this information regarding my personal holdings, right? My personal small holdings, as far as what's peaking out and what could potentially be warming up, right? So it's just letting me know, hey, with the understanding of not necessarily jumping from one to the next and hopscopping the seesaw, but it's an understanding of how the indicators work, the strength of the indicator based on the time frame that you're on. All right. Now we get alerts. I probably should clear that history, but it's going to store up to 200 alerts that go. And this does have a voice prompt too. Now let's double back to the pattern command center and let me check my phone while I'm here because I did get a text message. Okay, let's see if the background is still cooking.
Ergo, death cross exhaustion reversal, 2 and 6, on 4 hour.
Background still talking to me. A whole lot is coming up. Whole lot of rankings going on. All right. So I got multiple scanners going on the other computer. I got the 4 hour, the 6 hour, the 8 hour, the 12 hour, the 1 day, the 4 day, the 1 week, the 2 week, and the 1 month scanner, and it's just busy, right? It's busy. It's picking out all the beautiful, delicious things that are strong in the chart as far as movement. She has a voice. She has a voice when she talks, right? I listen. When the guy talks, David or Mark, they're scanning, right? But when a female talks, something interesting is going on. That's just the way I, you know, set it up. We can get up to, these time frames here. It's not going to take us to the 16 hour, the 1 day, the 2 day, the 4 day, the 1 week, the 2 week, the 1 month. It's not going to take us that high. Okay. But we can see some of those indicators, not all, but some, along with the pine cycle tops. And we are disarmed. We are not live trading. This is paper trading, right? If we arm, we're going live, right? We can choose one particular asset just to see what's going on with that particular asset. I'm just going to leave it on Bitcoin. And we can see just some homemade trades we can build, which is beautiful, right? Certain things, certain platforms will not let you do. So I had to build my own. I had to make it happen. All right. These aren't just pretty buttons to hit and nothing happens. This is the real deal of Evander Holyfield. And I like to trade with something I call insurance. I don't like to come here to lose. I come here to win. So if you look at this, I have insurance operators built into my trading, right? Certain things will not happen. It will not initiate or let me take the trade if, for example, if we're peaking out in the market and I'm trying to buy something, it's not going to let me do it, right? And if we are really, really low in the markets as far as price for that particular asset on that particular time frame, it's not going to let me sell it, right? And I built that insurance layer baked into the cake. So that is there, and we can build rules to make that happen. All right. We have some rules here. A lot of it's paper, and a lot of them are alerts. Okay. What else do I have? Let's do this one here. Let's edit one of those alerts. We have some other things too. There's a lot of settings inside the scanners, right? So there's so many settings in there until I like one place just to change or override those settings, right? But usually the settings are consistent in the scanner and we need for them to talk to all of the time frames. So if I open up a scanner, you'll see a green tag. Let's just open one up really quick. See the green tag here? It means everything is synced as far as the time frame and everything is synced to one another, especially the pattern command center. Because if I change a setting in here, it's going to change the alert pattern. And I don't want to be in the pattern command center and some alert or some setting has been changed or altered.
Bitcoin breakdown on 1 hour.
Let's close that. And the pattern command center is not reflecting it. So, of course, we have some things baked into the cake. All right. So that is not okay. So it finally opened, and you can see all my settings for the various time frames are here. They're consistent from one time frame to the next. Everything is dress for its particular time frame. But if I wanted to change something, moving from a bear market to a bull market, and I wanted things to respond more dynamically, quicker for the time frame, I could just change it here. Okay. All right. Um, things that came up on the alert. Okay. On the pattern. Pending confirmation don't. Trade log. Paper. A lot of times you see these because um, of the insurance layer that kicks in. All right. So if the insurance layer kicks in, it will let me know, hey, I'm doing my job. This was rejected. And sometimes with stocks, the markets are closed. I still want the pattern command center to do its job, but the markets may be closed. So some of these you see may be after hours, as an example. Right? All right, so it just depends. All right, all the beauty. Now, great for insurance purposes. Got the time frame, what happened, the current regime that these are in. Is it a bear market, bull market, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Reconciliation, everything's good. All right. So that's the pattern command center. We're going to go and look at just a trade for example. We're going to edit this one. Edit a setup rule. Edit. It's going to take me here and let's see what I was looking at. I was looking at bonk on the 1 minute time frame. And I wanted to see the 2 and the 6 death cross already in effect, which means the price has been going down. And I put in the wind exhaustion for the 2 and the 6 death cross, right? Which means it was moving down, but I wanted to know when it started cutting up. Let's see. Down move, losing steam. It's nice. Now, if it was cutting up and then it went back down, then I can put in the death cross reversal. Down, move, recovering, still no golden cross, right? So it went up and it started going, it was going down, it went up and started going down. Like that is a beautiful pivot or piece. All right, so we got that. We got the death cross already in play. We got the wind exhaustion there of the 2 and the 6 death cross. And we have the asset oscillator, right? And it's just to alert. Any buy zone, dark green to light green. And that's what the asset oscillator that we saw on the chart at the very beginning when we had TradingView actually looking at the chart. All right, so if I wanted to take one off, or if I wanted to add one, as far as an indicator, I want to know when this thing is in the golden zone, which is a golden opportunity to buy. Any golden zone tier, or I can say the general golden zone, the aggressive golden zone, or the extremely aggressive golden zone. Let's say any golden zone tier. It's almost like one thing. It's like scanning almost, but it hasn't happened yet. But I'm looking for this to happen, hmm? Or I would say the screener. It's like I want these things to happen, and if they happen, I want to know. Right now, that if I hit update rule is going to be an alert. But if I attach trade action to it, and I wanted to accumulate only or buy and take profit, it depends. These would have to change, but you can see semi-automatic means, hey, give me an alert and give me a button that says ready to execute so I can initiate the trade. Or we can go fully automatic. When that pops up, and I can add as many other conditions on here that I want to make it tight and to make it good and make it right, then this is all good. It automatically knows for my assets what platform it's on. So I don't even have to touch that. But you can see I have an account with Coinbase, 2Bit, Robinhood, and Alpaca, right? Stocks and ETFs. Paper trade or live, again, the platform is not armed. We can double check. We're disarmed, right? Now, if we wanted to make that happen live, we can update the rule. But right now, we're not ready for that. Fixed dollar amount, $5, $10, $100, $200, $1,000. It depends, right? Or we can go a percentage. You got 500 bucks on there and you want 5% taken out every time this happens. Boom. All right. And I can set a opposite rule for the sell as an example. Now keep in mind with the switcher, it's going to automatically put it in there, which is nice. All right. And I want to show you that in real time, but I just wanted to show you this. Let's cancel the edit. Well, maybe we shouldn't have canceled it. Maybe we should have just put, we can get rid of that one and we can get rid of this one. All right. And whenever we're death cross testing exhaustion, which means we're moving down, but we start moving up through the 2 and the 6 death cross, right? And let's just update the rule. Now, that is the last rule we made. And you can see that right here, right? It's an alert only. We didn't add paper action to it. And if that fires, then we can have it here or the trade log or the trade log. All right, let's do a switcher and I'm going to add it in, but then take it out. Okay. Let's look at crypto and let's say, ooh, we're getting out of Chainlink and we're going into XRP because the 1 and the 3 is not as strong as the 2 and the 6. And I can sell some Chainlink or all. We can make the rules and jump into XRP. So I'm going to hit this button here. Boom. I'm going to attach a paper action, but let's just make it an alert first, right? Attach the paper action, right? All right, let's just attach the paper action. We can modify it. Boom. Now we know that bonk was the last thing over here. I'm going to hit refresh, and it may take a while to refresh because of all the things that are going on. This is not a social media computer. It is not designed to do content creation, but it's designed to scan the heck out of these assets. All right, let's see if bonk is the last thing. And look at this, right? You got bonk right here, but it put the two things in there nicely, right? If one comes in or the other, it's going to trigger. This is just beautiful, right? Now let's edit and look and see. One day, the 1 and the 3, weighted moving average, death cross has to be fresh, up to 3 bars. Sell, fully automated. Coinbase, paper, we can change it to live. Fixed dollars, 25 or 100% if I would have put it in there or what have you. Or if you knew how many coins you wanted to get rid of, you'd have to know that it's about, I don't know, $6-7 per chain link. I'm not sure. But you'd have to know exactly how many. Or, this is nice. If I've already increased And if I had like 500 bucks initially on there and I made 200 bucks off of chain links, it's just going to do the 200 bucks, which means it's never going to touch my $500 in chain link. It's going to only touch my increase, which means I'll have a permanent bag and it would only trade the increase, which is brilliant. This is what that is. And that can be a certain percentage, 5%, 50%, 100%, or whatever it may be. All right. Now we're going to get rid of those and we're just going to look at the sell side. Let's cancel the edit. Let's look at the sell side. And while we're here, let's delete that. And let's just look at the selling of XRP. Has its own title, which I can modify, but everything is in there. This was a buy, right? Because we got our chain link in XRP. Fully automated. Coinbase is where it is. Fixed dollars or through the tiers that we looked at. We can make it live, but we're not live. This is beautiful. And we can add more conditions on there. 26, cross, golden cross. That's big. That's different from the golden zone. That's big. And you can set more conditions on there if you wanted to. You simply add another condition. 1 day chart. You pick an indicator you wanted to layer on it. I want it to be in the peak zone. Any tier, right? Because what if it can go up a little more? So the peak zone says, okay, that will be an optimum trade. And anytime it happens, because you can go from 3 tiers in the peak zone, you can go general peak zone, aggressive peak zone, and insane. So you can just paper trade and offload a certain amount every time without necessarily. Oh, I got rid of it by accident. Oh, without necessarily. Do I have? Good. And, if it's a percentage of something, you can just keep doing it forever, basically. 15% of 200, 15% of 185, 15%. And, it's just going to keep going until it's 15% of a penny, basically. So that is nice. And it's only like you're keeping your bag, right? All right. That is the setup. That is the system. Rapidly approaching Dagner automation with this other beautiful component in here that will incorporate AI automatic lookups for the switcher so that this is the latest and greatest information. What if one digital asset was going through a merger or was fading out or if it was being kicked off of other exchanges? What if you don't have the latest and greatest information? This is the latest and greatest information now, but if something is being talked about as far as a move that's a macroeconomic catalyst for the asset, then the switcher is truly going to be beefed up because there will be scans being done in the background on uh, a lot of categories of macroeconomic catalysts that can happen in the world that can move markets one way or another. And the system, based on history, knows which way these particular assets will move if a certain macroeconomic catalyst, and they don't all have to be bad, can hit. All right. With that said and done, that's a piece of the pie. Because according to George Trich's economic forecast that he designed in 1874, we know that 2026 is a B year, B as in Bobby Brown, a peak year. And some of you know what I'm saying because you have the visual in your head. You already know what time it is. You know what we're looking at here. This is nothing short of programming genius, at least in my book. Maybe in someone else's head, it's not a big deal. But when you're dag near reaching automation, anytime a particular pattern comes up, of which you can add just beautiful things on here. I mean, look at the scanner recommendation. Look at the indicators. Look how good the indicators can be. I'm not going to put that on, but let's go on a 1 minute time frame. And let's look at, all of them are chosen. It's pretty powerful stuff. All of them are chosen. 45 assets. I think only XLM is chosen. We'll see when it catches up. Oof. Everything, everything is open. Look how many things we got. Look at the list. Everything is checked. We don't need all these checked. That's too much. Now, even though I got rid of the visual alert, then of course some things are just still gonna. It has to catch up with all that information that I just sort of canceled out there. Double eights. I'm just gonna click on. Take off the pi cycle tops. True trident, trident cross. All right, we got all this information. Let's hit refresh again. And it's got all the time. It's got everything checked. All 45 assets. Now keep in mind some of the markets are closed. And sometimes you can't get information for a 1 minute time frame. But enable voice alerts. Let's see if this catches up. 45 assets. That's a safe number for the number of stocks that you're pulling from a particular IP address and so forth. You're pulling a lot of information. And that information is the oil that makes these engines run. Waiting for the update. Notice the sync, right? That means we're hooked in as far as the settings and the time frame sync to the actual time frame on TradingView around the world, and we're good. All right, what else? Oh, we muted. All right, we muted. Now, that, even though I muted it, let's look at, right now it's looking at breakouts. You can see what's in the golden zone, right? And you have the golden zone and what's in the insanely aggressive golden zone. And how many bars ago that was? I know it's coming. 1 minute is gonna be very busy with information. We got the timestamp there, and some were many bars ago, right? 33 minutes, because this is the 1 minute time frame, right? It is the 1 minute time frame. 1 minute. And you can just scan through the list. Now keep in mind some of the markets are closed as far as the stock, but it's pulling up some of the latest information. We can see what's in the golden zone, great chance to buy, golden opportunity, and what's in the peak zone, great chance to sell, right? Now, let's look at the asset oscillator. It's going to give you buy and sell recommendations on the macro for the time frame. You're in an extreme sell zone. This will not let me buy if I put that insurance layer in there in the pattern command center. And you're in extreme buy zone. This will not let me sell. It's an insurance plan for the time frame that you're on. It won't let you do it. All right. Yes. And we're getting those alerts every minute. Right. Every minute update is let me know what's going on. All right. Extreme buy, 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 buy. We know the markets are low. I can change one of these down here, but no need. All right. What else you want to look at? Wind exhaustion of the 2 and the 6. Whether it's golden or death. Exhaustion means it's reversing the other way. So golden cross exhaustion means it's going down, but exhaustion reversal means it was going down and it popped back up again. Huh? Golden cross. I mean, did I say that wrong? It was going up and it was going down, and the reversal is it popped back up again. All right, make sure we're good. And the death cross means it's testing exhaustion. It was dead, dying, going down, but it's starting to round out. It may be testing it. If we have a reversal, that's one thing. But usually when you have these exhaustions of the golden cross and the death cross, those are big moves, especially of the 9 and the 21. Right? And sometimes you get the death cross testing exhaustion, and sometimes you get the death cross testing exhaustion reversal. Right? There's the golden cross exhaustion reversal and death cross exhaustion reversal, as well as the golden cross testing exhaustion and the death cross testing exhaustion. That's 8 things, right? That's 8 things. One, two, three, four, and the reversals 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 tabs not shown up here. And this is why you probably been trying to count 21. I don't see 21. You know, not everything's in here. So this 1 minute time frame, I haven't bound it to a pi cycle top, but we can scan for up to 20 different things because there's no pi cycle top for it, right? That is beautiful. Look at that. Just keep coming in. Just keep coming in. Let me know everything that's going on for the 1 minute time frame. We get the same thing for the 1 day and the 1 month and the 2 week and the 2 month. It's the same thing. Now, what I wanted to show you is we don't have the pi cycle top for it, but let's see what's in a falling wedge. Let's see if we got the wedges. Now the wedges, especially the falling wedges, is bullish, right? That one failed. It lets me know if it's good or if it's not. Oh, we got some here. Falling wedge breakout. That's beautiful. 24 bars ago, 24 minutes ago on silver. Oh, that's gold. And silver 7 minutes ago. Falling wedge breakout to the upside, right? Who knows how much it'll move up. But rising wedge breakout is down. And look at the beautiful arrows. It's letting you know whether something is bearish or bullish and whether it fails or not. And how many bars ago it was. This is really nice. Because you can long the market or you can short the market based on the asset. All right, all brilliance baked into the cake. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do. I chart. I'm in the chart. But now I could take a nap and let the scanner whisper sweet nothings in my ear. Let me know when the action is happening. Now, I always say do the math. 21 key indicators, 13 time frames, 45 assets. One person can't do that. And looking for the actual factual real deal of Holyfield, right? The real thing, nobody can beat it. Nobody can beat it. All right. So that's what we got going on over here in good old sunny Jacksonville, Florida. That's what's going on over here. Breaching and reaching automation. Now some people let AI trade for them. I'm not ready for it. I want AI to do what I tell it to do, right? Now, only thing I need for AI to do is scan these assets that are rotating up and rotating down and dynamically change the score. And if I take a trade, do a macroeconomic report on each of these assets and rearrange everything based on the macroeconomic catalysts that we may or may not see in the wings, mergers, a firing of a president, a hiring of a CEO, a firing of a chief financial officer, uh, bankruptcy, chapter 13, um, whirlwind, hurricane, tornado, deals with lobbyists in Congress, all these macroeconomic catalysts. And the big one is the Clarity Act, Japanese carry trade, the direction of Bitcoin movement, so many other things, Genius Act, ETFs coming on the scene, whatever it may be. The macroeconomic catalyst is just that other fine piece that helps solidify everything else. These are some powerful indicators in this browser, and adding multiple scanners is just a beautiful thing. You can isolate so many things with this powerful, brilliant team. You can tell I'm proud of it. I can't stop bragging to myself. But it's come through blood, sweat, and tears. Trust what I tell you. And all I can say is my creator is good. According to Genesis chapter 15, verses 13 through 15, the promise is here, and I'm trying to receive it. Enlarge my tent. And oh no. Everybody say, oh no. He don't went after the money. He went after the money. He went after the markets, y'all. He done broke the thing apart. He done dissected it. He done looked at it. He done put it back together the way he wanted it to come together. Oh no. Watch out. It's over.